vote today. That's what I was trying to get the people out of the house to vote. Not necessarily vote for me. I want them to vote today. And, we did get up over 1,300 voters, and I came out victorious.
Well, Mayor, we congratulate you on a hard-fought primary. We certainly wish you good luck going forward as we continue to get numbers finalized. And certainly if you do come out ahead and you do move on in November for sure, and you do end up continuing as mayor, we can only hope that you market the city half as well as you marketed yourself during your campaign, and we'll all be okay.
Thank you.
Okay, take care, Mayor. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Just real quick before we go, I just want to point out a contact of mine. I just asked if there were any more numbers or updates from Schuylkill County. They're still having a lot of problems, especially in McAdoo. They had to go back to paper ballots. They're having some problems. So, we may see in Schuylkill County that there is a major issue. And the one thing that the question may have to be is, will this election have to be redone in Schuylkill County because of the voting machine problem?
Oh my goodness. Ay. Wow. Well, with that, we're going to go to break. We'll be right back on WYLN TV 35. Stick around.
All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is honored to serve you. And this month, we're honoring those who have served us during the Bigger Things sales event. Lease a new 2019 Ram 1500 Bighorn 4x4 for just $269 a month. Learn more at allamericanjeep.net.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about visiting a restaurant that has a unique flavor? These are just some of the things we'll be featuring on our show. Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. Jeff Bonomo and his co-host, Alan Giannetti, welcome you into the world of craft beer, great wine, and good food. Wine, Hops, and Road Stops.
The Falvello Law Firm, located at 314 Main Street, Suite A in Cunningham, offers help with car and truck accidents, wills, powers of attorney, and estates. With a small team of attorneys, they work directly with each and every client, serving all of northeastern Pennsylvania, and they are proud to offer legal services that make a real difference to you. Call them at 570-788-4191 today. Go hog wild for Iron Pigs Baseball. WYLN is televising the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs live. America's favorite pastime on your local network, WYLN TV 35. See the Stars of Tomorrow at Coca-Cola Park. Don't miss any of the games here on WYLN TV 35. Visit WYLNTV.com for a complete Iron Pigs schedule. Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs on WYLN, your home for live sports.
Save now on a vehicle that blends city style with wilderness spirit. It's the Jeep Celebration event at All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Get outside in a new Jeep Wrangler Sport 4x4 starting at $33,799. Learn more at allamericanjeep.net.
Election night coverage on WYLN TV 35 is sponsored by Falvello Law, Builders Direct, Harry's You Pull It Auto Parts, and All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Tamaqua.
Welcome back. We've already called the Wilkes-Barre mayoral race for George Brown. We already had current Mayor Jeff Cassatt come on, and he's feeling confident that he is going to pull out a victory in the primary. What we have seen so far to date, and he confirmed he's seeing the same thing, is about a 90 vote margin lead for him with not all wards in reporting yet. So that's what we're seeing so far. In terms of Hazleton City Council, our preliminary numbers on the Republican side showed Andrasco, Sacco, Acevedo in that order. And on the Democratic side, our most recent numbers were extremely tight. We haven't had an update since my last report. We had Soto at 399, Mundy at 388, and Mope at 358. But again, I'm sure we're going to be getting an update on that soon. But the Democratic side appears to be extremely tight. Bill, you have some updates in terms of Wilkes-Barre City Controller?
Yes, interestingly enough, Darren Snyder, who won his first term 4 years ago, is in an extremely tight three-way race. It was, with a three-person race, you would expect the incumbent to easily slide by, but he's apparently neck and neck with Charlie Majikis, who was a former probation officer who retired and ran against him. So it's going to be very interesting to see, especially with the fact that the mayor's race has now been called, everything is in, and it's that close. I also just got word for Wilkes-Barre Area School Board, because that school issue, it is neck and neck with all the people going up and down on both sides. So they said it's really too close to call on all sides, and they said it's going to be a long night.
You also heard that the Luzerne County election site was down. It's like Groundhog Day. Every bloody year. We're on here, we're yelling in our fabulous production crew in the background, send us in the numbers, send us the county numbers, and the site is down.
I've learned early on is to get my crew with the text messages and the emails. I've got Mark Casper in Exeter, Tom Layton in Wilkes-Barre, my brother Brian, my wife Paula, a lot of great people out there helping me get all these numbers in here to help us from the upper Luzerne County side of things.
Yes,
So-
well, and we thank them all for that, and we appreciate that they work for free, which is in the WYLN budget. We appreciate
Exactly.
that. Also, just speaking of WYLN, I just want to say a happy birthday to Pat Gans, our owner, and
All right.
we wish Pat well, and we
Happy
hope
birthday,
she's
Pat. Happy
watching
birthday.
tonight. And hello to Joe and Joey as well. And really, we appreciate the Gans family has always been supportive of our political coverage. They enable us to do things like live debates, live forums, and we really are grateful for that. And also, we have a fantastic production crew, the best in the biz, whether it comes to sports, live sports, where the events, not just the highlights, whether it's election night, our reporters are all out in the field. So really, we appreciate all of you. We're just here under the lights reading what they send in to us. So we're grateful.
This is interesting because the council race, the Democrats are 2-1 probably to Republicans, and yet they only drew a total of 300 some votes, and they got 500 and 400.
Yeah.
So it shows that
The Republicans are voting more
Republicans came out.
heavily.
Now they either came out more than the Democrats, more interested because of, I think, the mayoral race, and that's what drew them out, that they outpolled.
Well, and assuming Bob pulls this off on the Democratic side for mayor, he's going to have to work very hard then to get out the vote in the general election because the Democratic numbers are lower.
Stagnant.
Yeah, they're more stagnant.
I totally agree with you. I think from the beginning we've been saying it's who gets their voters out.
Absolutely.
Who really gets these people out and go to the polls.
Because there's no party anymore.
No,
on any side.
It's
And you
who
need to
gets
get-
their people out to vote.
When you're down to local elections, party's not it, it's the person.
No, exactly.
It doesn't
I mean, you
matter
could see
party.
even working
So
on
when this
council.
goes into the general, there's going to be a lot of jumping one way or the other.
Right, and what people are really looking for is they're looking for solutions. You know, so often people run, especially first timers, but they use the typical catchphrases, oh, I'm going to work on getting crime down, I'm going to work to reduce property
gonna work
taxes, I'm going
together.
to work on urban blight, blah, blah, blah. They say the same thing, but they have absolutely no plan as to how they're going to go about doing it. They have no idea. One of the questions that I asked several of the candidates, for example, in the city council forum is, if you look at the budget, what line item, if you could shift one amount of money into another area, where would you shift it and why? And 3 of the candidates running for city council looked at me and just said they weren't familiar enough with it to know. So,
I mean, I've been involved for the 3 years of the budget, and what a process. I mean, you're working now in the parameters of Act 47.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally think we needed more code people.
Yeah.
I think it's instrumental in Hazelton and just cleaning up. But the problem is that who would work for $9 an hour without no benefits?
Right.
You got to sometime make an investment because I believe that they could bring a lot more money in as well as clean the city up.
Bob,
but you
I have
got
to
make that.
I'm sorry, I just have to interrupt you because we have Allison Barletta on the phone. So, Allison, it's Tiffany Cloud.
Hi, Tiffany. How are you?
Good, Allison. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Okay. Well, first, I want to congratulate you on a very, very hard-fought primary. Now, we have had the mayor call in, Cassatt, saying that he is pretty confident in declaring victory. Our numbers, our latest round of numbers, we were seeing about a 95 vote margin of his having an advantage over you. What are you seeing?
That sounds about right. That's about what our numbers are coming in also.
Okay. How you feeling about the race you ran?
Oh, wonderful. We ran a strong campaign, we ran a clean campaign, and we ran together, and I am so proud of that.
Yeah, and I have to commend you. I think that you did run an excellent campaign. We all talked about that on panel tonight. You really did. First time running for mayor. You brought up a lot of important issues about things like making sure that job postings are publicly shared, questioning crime numbers, etc. So what is your proudest moment of this political cycle?
To be honest, is meeting all the wonderful people, getting out door to door, talking to them, listening to their concerns and their issues. It was amazing meeting such wonderful people throughout the campaign. You know, we did come up just a little too short, but I think it was a wonderful race, to be honest. It was very close.
Well, one thing we've certainly learned from past mayoral races is if you don't succeed the first time, try again, because
Exactly.
this may be just the beginning. I have Mayor Iannuzzi saying something.
Hi, Allison. Joe Iannuzzi.
Hi, Mayor. How are you?
Good. Did you concede or are you conceding?
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
He's asking if you have conceded.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay, great, because I want to tell you, you ran a great campaign. Your advertisement was great. Your presentations were great. Everything was good. Now, the big step is you lost mayorship, but you're still a council person. And you're going to go back on council as vice president, and Jeff's going to be in there maybe, or Robert Yevak.
Doing what's best for the residents.
She said she's going to do what's best for the residents.
That's what I expected you to say.
Yes.
So good luck in the future.
Okay, Bob.
Thank you very much.
And Bob wants to say something.
I want to compliment
Bob.
you on what a great campaign you ran and what really a workhorse you are, because I see it on council. You make my job easy as a vice president of council, and I have no doubt that this is just the beginning of your political future, because I mean, I could see you going places, and I do see the hard work she does every day in getting involved with the community and the citizens. So I just think it was well done by her.
Yes, Allison.
Thank you.
Yes, we all agree. Well, Allison, thank you so much for calling in, and we appreciate your willingness to run and put yourself up for public scrutiny, and also your willingness to continue serving the community of Hazleton. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let me just make an observation. I don't know Allison at all, but her energy, her enthusiasm, and her attitude in conceding.
Magnificent. Class act, right?
That's what you need in politics, and I hope she runs for something where I could vote for in Luzerne County, because wow, that's really fantastic.
I think she has a great
Kudos to
political
her.
career, and she's my vice president. The work she does and the way she takes an interest in the community, gets out, I got to say, it puts me to shame. She's really a workhorse. She's involved, and like I said, she's young. But like I said, I think she has a bright career
You need
in
more
politics.
people like that.
Absolutely.
There's too many people
give them
lose and
credit.
they want to go after the other side and knock them
She's-
down.
She's young.
That's
when she
great.
first came on and started talking, and the way she talked, in defeat.
Yeah,
I
that's what
didn't
I
think.
thought.
It's impressive.
Yeah, I didn't think
It's
she.
impressive.
I didn't think she was going to concede.
Very
That's
composed.
why she didn't say it. So I.
I'm glad you
her.
asked the question,
had
and
to
you
ask
put her on the spot.
Yeah,
I'm glad
I
you
know,
did.
but I had to ask that question, but her personality was the same.
Yes.
She
in
gives hope
defeat
for the
and
future
then,
because of that.
So that's a good candidate. That's
To
a
know
good
her,
person.
you really got to like her. Believe
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
When you have
Yeah.
to deal with you, there's no way you just can't just
Right.
like
Well, it's
her.
always nice when we can say things like that. And Bob Yevak has also declared victory, and so certainly his numbers are probably aligning with the preliminary numbers that we got in. So I don't know if he'll be calling in or not. I certainly hope that he does. And so it looks like it's going to be Yavak versus the incumbent mayor in the general election.
Interesting.
It's going to be interesting. I'm going to have to take a break right now, but we'll talk a little more about that soon. We'll be right back. Pull it.
There are lots of things you can pull, but what's the most fun? Pulling parts at Harry's You Pull It, the world's largest auto salvage yard. Pull it. Pull it. Come visit any of their 3 convenient Harry's You Pull It locations: Hazleton, Allentown, Pennsburg, and Pull It.
Save now on a vehicle that blends city style with wilderness spirit. It's the Jeep Celebration event at All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Get outside in a new Jeep Wrangler Sport 4x4 starting at $33,799. Learn more at allamericanjeep.net.
Isn't it time to move that remodel forward? You've waited long enough, and the time is right. Showplace has special discounts going on right now to improve any room in any home. So, tell me again what you're waiting for? Stop in soon to learn more.
See the cabinet professionals at Builders Direct, 757 West Broad Street, Hazleton.
All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is honored to serve you. And this month, we're honoring those who have served us during the Bigger Things sales event. Lease a new 2019 Ram 1500 Bighorn 4x4 for just $269 a month. Learn more at allamericanjeep.net.
Election night coverage on WILN TV 35 is sponsored by Falfello Law, Builders Direct, Harry's You Pull It Auto Parts, and All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Tamaqua.
Welcome back to WILN TV 35's live election night coverage. We have Bob Yavak on the phone, who appears to have won on the Democratic side for Hazleton City Mayor. Bob, how are you? Congratulations.
I'm doing fine. I'm ecstatic here to win the nomination.
Oh, well, wonderful. Congratulations. Tell us, your signs, your slogan is a new beginning. What does that mean to you?
That means that I've been living in Hazleton all my life. I've been doing good things for this community as much as I could, and I want to just move the city forward to a new beginning. I want to clean the city up. I want to get rid of all this blight that we're talking about, and I want to just get everybody in order and try to make a difference. That like I could have people looking back and say they're living in the Hazleton that was once before.
Okay, so you're going to, it appears to be, running against the incumbent mayor, Jeff Cassatt. I know you're not going to be sharing your exact plan of attack, but how do you, can you give us some suggestions as to, what you intend to really focus upon in the upcoming campaign?
First of all, I want to focus on the city itself, like making it cleaner. What I want to do is I want to get 3 or 4 more code enforcement officers on the payroll. I want to get them out on the streets. I want to do a sweep of the city. I want to clean it up. I want to make it look nice. Don't take a lot of money to clean the city up and make it presentable like it always was before. Mm-hmm. And I want to I want to cite people. You got garbage and trash laying around in your yards. You're going to get cited. It's going to hit you in the pocketbook, and it's going to make a difference. And once I do that, that's going to stop all these people from throwing stuff around, and we're going to get the Hazleton we had, a clean Hazleton, and everybody's going to be in order with that stuff.
Well, I certainly hope that we would be able to get more code enforcement officers. I know it's really hard when we have strapped budgets, and unfortunately, that's a dangerous job, and a lot of people don't want to do it for only $9 an hour. So it's going to be a challenge. I hope you have a plan for where that funding will come from.
Well, that funding's going to come is when we go out there and clean the city up and do all these citations for people that aren't doing the right thing. That's going to help pay the salaries of these guys. And as far as hiring guys and being afraid to go out there, we're going to get guys. There's guys out there that'll do it, and they care for the city, and they want to work for the city, and they'll be involved in it, and they'll get the job done.
Okay, and I know Mayor Yannuzzi wanted to ask you something.
Hi, Bob. Joe Yannuzzi.
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah?
Oh. I just want to congratulate you on your victory tonight. You ran a good campaign. I know You walk the city an awful lot. What is it, 5 miles
Yeah.
a day or a week? You're always walking.
Yep.
And
Yes. I walk through the city of Hazleton on an average of like 24 miles a week, and I don't walk down main streets all the time. I walk through the alleys. I get a good view of the whole city, the good parts, the bad parts, and the parts that need the most work.
Okay.
that's what I was going to say, that you know where the bad spots are and which ones should be cleaned up. So I guess you got that message across because you got the most votes. So
Well, see, you already have your slogan, not talking the talk, walking the walk. There you go. Okay,
you go.
Bob.
Okay,
You don't,
very
even,
good.
you don't even have to pay me for that. Okay, now Bob wanted to say
Bob,
something.
I want to congratulate you, Bob Gavio. I've known you for 60 years. We've been lifelong friends. We work together, and the truth of it is, there's not too much you can't do when you put your mind to it. So
I appreciate that,
congratulations
Bob.
once again.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Thanks very much.
Well, Bob, we certainly look forward to getting to know you better. I have to say you have some enthusiastic supporters. One of them was kind enough to call in and make sure they corrected how I pronounced your name, and I appreciate that. I wish you all the best going forward, and I hope to get to interview you in the upcoming months. Thank you
Thanks
for
a lot,
calling in.
Tiffany. I appreciate it.
Okay, you take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, so he's really going to focus largely on blight and code enforcement, which, you know, I did bring up. It's a wonderful thing. I think we would all love to be able to do more about blight. And, you know, the catch-22 is, how do you pay for it? And how do you get people to do a job which can be a dangerous job, because a lot of the houses that have blight problems are the same houses that the police department has to call on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
It's a very rough job. In fact, we had 3 young people when I first got on that were very good. We trained them.
Yeah.
They were working hard, bringing citations in, and all 3 left because of the pay. The city paid them.
Yeah.
One went to Harrisburg, Lebanon. One went for $15 an hour. I mean, it is a hard job for the rate that we pay them.
Mm-hmm.
And I always thought it was a good investment to pay people more because they bring in just with citations and they beautify the city at the same time.
Absolutely.
But you do have to, coming from pro-union, been a union representative up the water company for years, I mean, there are times you have to pay well to keep people who are, you know, and, you know, unfortunately right now under unfortunately we have benefited a lot from grants. I mean, Act 47, I had to be pulled into it. But I mean, you are at the forefront of grants with the state. I mean, we received a $240,000 grant, $850,000 at no interest. I mean, there's the perks, but also then you got that limit within the budget, that parameters that you got to work within, because it was all voted to approve, and it goes before them. So it is a struggle, and I talked to them because I'm pro-worker, I'm pro-union. You could, Joe, you can more wage and stuff, but you got to be willing to raise taxes to do it. As long as you bring the income in, you can do what you want, you know, according to them. But there is a parameter set there that you got to Joe, take it from
You
me.
said raise taxes
I've been known
on
as
this show.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Joe. Since I've been on, I thought I was pushed in Act 47. I thought that incremental tax raises, you know, that you hit people small all the way through, was the way to keep aside of it.
That should have been started years
But the
ago.
truth of it is nobody likes taxes. It's a hard thing to do. It's not popular.
I have to go to break. We're just having a mic issue with you, Bob. You're watching my show. I'm going to go to break, and we'll be right back where you'll be able to hear Mr.
threw it away.
Gavio. We'll be right back.
A sense of self-worth, of purpose after war. It can be found by having the courage to learn new things and experience new adventures. We develop confidence through accomplishment. If you're a combat veteran struggling with the scars of war, consider getting into the outdoors. The outdoors has really helped me cope, and it just might help you too. Get out of the house, experience life and the healing power of nature.
Watch Staff Sergeant Olson heal the wounds of war through outdoor activities. Watch Warrior Summit Outdoors. For over 25 years, Whitetail Preserve Shooting Range, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg, has provided professionally designed skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields. All stations are handicap accessible with resident NRA certified shooting instructors on site. Packages are available to fit anyone's budget, and there is a restaurant and catering on site. The facility is also available for weddings, business meetings, bachelor parties, private parties of any kind. Call 570-384-2314.
I'm Hazleton Police Chief Jerry Spezial. We lost 73,000 individuals to opioid overdoses last year in the Commonwealth. That's why we're fighting back.
You can join that fight against opioid addiction by attending a town hall meeting on Thursday, May 23rd from 6:30 p.m. till 8 p.m. at the Wiltsey Center in Hazleton, or watch it live on WYLN TV Channel 7. Together, we can find a solution.
Hi, I'm Paula Degnan, news anchor and reporter for WYLN News. With over 30 years of experience in local news, I'm proud to be a part of your #1 local news team. When local news happens, you can count on WYLN News to be there, whether it's in Wilkes-Barre, Freeland, or right here in Hazleton. We work hard to be your #1 local news station, and will continue to work hard to stay #1.
In a world where an instant tweet can create a firestorm of news coverage, WYLN is moving with the times, allowing for more instant reporting of breaking news on television and on social media, as well as regular hourly news updates. News gets out faster than ever before, and WYLN brings it all to you. Live weekdays at 5:30 only on WYLN. We're your local network.
Election night coverage on WYLN TV 35 is sponsored by Falfello Law, Builders Direct, Harry's You Pull It Auto Parts, and All-American Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Tamaqua.
Welcome back to WYLN TV 35's live election night coverage. Well, we've called George Brown as the Democrat for Wilkes-Barre mayor. We have had Allison Barletta concede on the Republican side for Hazleton City Mayor. Jeff Cassatt has declared victory there on the Republican side. Bob Yavak on the Democratic side has declared victory for Hazleton Mayor. So it's looking like a Cassatt-Yavak matchup in the general election for mayor. That's going to be a very, very interesting match. And it'll be certainly, you know, it's going to be particularly interesting because we know a lot about Jeff Cassatt, and he'll be running on his record. And he had a very active, very aggressive primary race. So, you know, his opponent's been able to see where he's vulnerable, where he maybe isn't vulnerable, et cetera, what resonated with voters, what didn't resonate. Bob, on the other hand, has, as I said earlier, pretty much kept his powder dry. He hasn't really had to, I mean, he didn't even show up at the debate. He just knew he was going to pull this out. And so other than a new beginning and knowing that he wants to tackle urban blight and have more code enforcement officers, we don't necessarily know as much about what he stands for. So it'll be interesting to see how Jeff plans to go after him.
Well, Jeff shouldn't worry about him as much as he should worry about what he's done and get that presented to the public, because it's hard to challenge Yavak because he has no record. He is a businessman. You can't challenge him there because you don't know his business. In politics, he's never been in politics. So how can you say anything about him? You can only say he's going to do this. How's he going to do it? Make him answer that question. But otherwise, Jeff's got to concentrate on what he's done for the city and what he plans to do in the future, and not worry about his challenge.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I think you bring up a good point that Jeff, you know, he has a proven record of solutions. People may not all love every solution, but he has not just pointed out the problem, he's delivered on certain solutions. And I think that Bob, on the other side, he has to be careful that he doesn't just point out the problems. We all know the problems. He has to come with real solutions that are affordable solutions that can work within the dollars that we have to work with. So his job is harder to show how to do that.
I think you basically saw Jeff's campaign for November in the recent one, about similar to everything. I do think in time now, Bobby Evans gonna maybe now get in place the things he wants to do, the things you have to do it, So I would assume between now and then, you're gonna, you can't come up with some solutions, but also ways to pay it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think Jeff's campaign is gonna be similar. It's what, run on what he's done, you run on your record, and the challenger will have to, newcomers sometimes will get the benefit of the doubt because you don't have, you know what I mean? Let's face it, take it from me. Many of your votes are scrutinized. Am I right? You're in that public eye. I do think in the meantime, he certainly will come up with, a platform and an agenda to go. I would think so. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, one thing I want to see, Bill, whether we are in Hazleton or whether we are in Wilkes-Barre, is are we going to see municipal governments, city councils and mayors, executive branches and legislative branches ever working together? Are we ever going to see, just on councils alone, the word compromise? It was actually a word that Bob brought up. Is compromise dead in politics, or can we ever come together and find that we can just each give a little and so that we can gain a little?
I think the pendulum swung so far to the one side of lack of compromise. Eventually it's going to swing to the center. You're going to have compromise. There's too many issues. You look at the smaller municipalities, you have regionalization issues, you have pension issues, you have, Wilkes-Barre is almost in Act 47, Hazleton is in Act 47. They're going to be forced to work together. Fire departments are now being disbanded. There's no money. You have to have the compromise, and the people like Allison Barletta having the excitement and the, in losing, looking forward to the future. That's what is going to end up happening, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in the presidential election next year, because we've seen a complete lack of compromise in federal government on TV every day from both sides of the aisle. So I think it's time that we have to start looking at that, and hopefully, it's going to be for the betterment of all of the residents, because otherwise everybody's going to have their own fiefdom and it's just going to eat each other.
Mm-hmm. Bob, if you were to look at this election, what do you think jumps out at you as the most interesting dynamic or thing that happened in this election cycle?
Well, I did think that, I did think Bobby Evok was going to win the Democratic nod, as far as we don't know with council. I thought the Republican mayor race was going to be tightly contested. I thought they both ran great campaigns, and it was going to be a back and forth. And I believe it's who got their voters out to vote that made a difference. Compromise, I think, is necessary now. Take it from me. If you maybe look at my votes, Tiffany, I've been all over the place. There are times I'll vote with the mayor against, am I right? There are times I'll vote with council, but I actually never made it personal. We, contrary to belief, we get along.
Bob Switzerland Gavio from now on. That's what we're going to call you.
We get along, but you do have to, in this day and age, we miss what a lot of the old timers had. You do have to find that compromise. There is a middle point there that you could reach. You don't make it personal, Joe. Am I right? You move on. If you lose, Tiffany, what did I tell you? I'm married 40 years. If I didn't compromise, I don't know if I'd make it through a day. There is that middle point that I really believe people working together, regardless of parties, could reach. It's that something, Joe, that maybe the old timers, you look years ago, Tip O'Neill, DeRon Reagan, they would beat at each other's throat. They'd have a cigar, they'd sit down, and they'd find a solution, like the Social Security. I think we got to get back to that, where we can find that middle point that we all can agree on. Because nobody's going to get everything they want.
When Joe Biden's president after next year, you're going to see that happen. In the United States.
Don't even start. Listen, we don't even have enough time to get into that whole
I had to get it in there.
I'm okay with that. You're talking to a blue-collar union guy.
In a bathtub, okay? I was at a packed thing like a sardine yesterday at the Trump rally. Listen, Joe.
He had 5,000 in his.
Yeah, he was in Philadelphia. He needed to go to Philadelphia.
He got 5,000.
Trump went out into the boondocks and got that many.
I think it shows you how important Pennsylvania is going to be.
Yeah, Absolutely. Pennsylvania's going to be important.
I'm married 58 years.
Joey, God
I don't know
bless.
if it's compromise or submission.
I was going to say concession. Yeah, I can see that.
Well, Joe, I'm on TV, so I'm going to say compromise. And then when
That's a good
when
word.
the camera goes off, I'll tell you.
That's a good word.
I'm going to go home tonight, and my husband is going to say to me, the word of the day is compromise. He's going to say that. What do you think about this election cycle? What stands out to you?
What stands out that Jeff pulled it out. It was going to be a close race, and it was going to go either way. And the surprising thing, Jeff pulled it out. You know, he did a good job, and he's going to be the candidate in November. And as far as the Democratic side, that side, Yevak was picked the winner from the beginning.
Yeah, and how about you,
That's
Bill?
what happened.
What do you think about this primary cycle?
Primarily in Wilkes-Barre, it's I really think people are voicing their opinions that they want change. They want things to happen. And you know, we could joke about the presidential stuff, but you saw that with Trump. People wanted a different direction in their lives, and I think it's following through now. They want elected leaders to be held accountable. If you're not going to do the job, they're going to move on. That George Brown race, that's a large mandate, and I've been around a long time to see that, and it's never been that big. And you're going to see some kind of changes with the school board in Wilkes-Barre as well. So you're going to see people saying, hey, listen, I either want this or I don't want this. And the fact that it's close and it's usually not like that, that shows you that people are going to hold their representatives accountable.
Right. Well, and I'd say that some of the things that I noticed this election cycle, certainly in the Hazleton mayoral race on the Republican side, I mean, it was a marketing battle royale. So it was certainly interesting to watch. I have a background in marketing, so I'm always fascinated to see what people do. I think the fact that we got so many people from the Hispanic community to run for office, whether on school board or whether for council, is very interesting. And I just think that, you know, we have some exciting races ahead, and we look forward to being with you in November. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I'd like to thank the panelists for participating, the Gans family, the production crew, all the voters, all the viewers. Thank you so much. And remember, don't complain about it. You can always do something about it, just like today. You voted. Thank you for watching.